Help me hit 7,000 subscribers. Support the video with a like and share your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Thank you. I'm Aiden, 36, and until a few months ago, I genuinely thought I had a peaceful, ordinary marriage. Nothing loud, nothing dramatic, just routines stitched together into what I assumed was stability. My wife, Marlo, always said she preferred quiet relationships, ones without chaos or theatrics. I believed her. Maybe I believed her a little too easily. It was a Thursday evening, one of those chilled, early spring nights where the world feels slower than usual. I just finished cleaning the kitchen when my phone buzzed. It was Marlo. I'll be home late, helping my sister with some stuff. Alara was her younger sister. Softer voice, brighter eyes. The kind of woman who smiled with her whole face. They were close, always had been, so the text didn't raise alarms at first. I simply replied, "Okay, drive safe." Simple, normal, expected. But my gut twitched. Not enough to panic, but enough to linger. I brushed it off. Maybe I shouldn't have. Hours passed. 9 became 10. 10 slipped into 11. No updates, no calls. Just silence heavy enough to feel intentional. I ended up sitting on the couch, the TV playing some muted late-night talk show while my thoughts wandered in circles. Something felt off. Not dramatic, not suspicious, just off. Like a subtle shift in the air before a storm. Finally, close to midnight, I sighed, grabbed my jacket, and headed out. Not to search for her, not to confront her, just to clear my head. But as I sat in my car, keys in my hand, I hesitated. I had one person I could check on without crossing any moral lines. Alara. So I drove. Her lights were on when I arrived. I knocked softly, half feeling guilty for showing up unannounced. When she opened the door, her hair was tied in a messy bun. Her pajamas mismatched, a confused expression on her face. "Aiden? It's late. Is everything okay?" There was no fake surprise, no awkward guilt flash in her eyes. Just genuine confusion. I exhaled, long and slow. "Is Marlo here?" Her eyebrows pulled together. "No, I haven't seen her since Monday." "Why? Did something happen?" Something in my chest sank. Not anger, not fear. Just this slow, cold clarity spreading through me. I forced a nod, masking my reaction. "She said she was helping you tonight." Alara's face softened with concern. "No. She's not here. Do you want to come in? You look pale." I stepped inside. Not because I needed answers, those had already unfolded, but because I needed to breathe around someone who wasn't lying to me. We talked for maybe an hour. Nothing personal, nothing heavy. Just gentle small talk that felt strangely comforting. Alara had always been easy to be around, the kind of person who made any room feel warmer. At some point, exhaustion took over. She insisted I stay on her couch rather than drive back half awake. I didn't argue. I woke up early, earlier than usual. The sun was barely stretching over the horizon, painting the living room in soft gold. I found Alara already in the kitchen, hair down now, making coffee and scrambling eggs. "You were tossing all night," she said lightly. "Figured you might need breakfast." I smiled for the first time in what felt like weeks. "Thanks. Really." We sat across from each other, the morning unusually calm. And there was something almost ironic, almost painfully symbolic, about sitting there eating breakfast with the sister my wife claimed she'd been with. Around 7, I heard the front door open. I recognized the sound. Marlo had a distinct way of entering a place, like she was stepping into a space that automatically belonged to her. She froze when she saw me. Her hair was neatly brushed. Too neatly. Her clothes were clean, as if she hadn't been doing anything remotely messy. And her eyes widened for a fraction of a second before she forced a smile. "Aiden? What are you doing here?" I didn't answer immediately. I swallowed the last bite of toast, dabbed my mouth with a napkin, and leaned back casually. Alara stood behind the counter, arms folded, already sensing the tension. Marlo's gaze flicked between us. "Why are you here? I thought you were home." I let a slow smirk curve across my face. Calm, controlled, sharper than anger. "Good morning," I said. "Late night, huh?" Her throat bobbed. I told you. I was helping Alara. I lifted my cup, tapped it lightly against the table, and replied, Oh, really? Because I had breakfast with your sister, and she wasn't with you last night. Her expression cracked, just slightly, like a mirror touched by a stone. And then I delivered the line I knew would slice right through the lie she hadn't even finished crafting. So tell me, Marlo, was Mike done with you already? Marlo went still, utterly still. Her face didn't flush with guilt or explode with denial. It just froze, like her brain hadn't caught up to the reality that her lie had collapsed before she even stepped fully inside the house. Alara's eyes snapped toward her, sharp and confused. Marlo, what is he talking about? My wife opened her mouth, closed it, then tried again. Aiden, whatever you think. I'm not thinking anything, I interrupted calmly. I'm just repeating your schedule, apparently. She flinched at the tone. I wasn't yelling, wasn't accusing, wasn't demanding explanations. I was just done. Completely, quietly done. And she could hear it. Aiden, she tried again, softer this time. Let's talk outside. No, I replied. Inside is fine. We're all adults here. Besides, Alara deserves to know why her name was used. That made her eyes widen. Not with shame, no. With fear. The fear of losing control of the narrative she thought she commanded. Aiden, she whispered urgently, please. Her plea wasn't for forgiveness. It was for containment. Alara stepped around the counter, arms crossed, shoulders tight. Marlo, you lied? You told him you were helping me? Marlo pressed her fingers to her forehead. I didn't want him worrying. I laughed under my breath. A quiet, disbelieving sound that made her look up sharply. Right? I said. Because nothing says, don't worry, like disappearing for hours and using your sister's name as a shield. She snapped then. Not fully, but enough to reveal the truth clawing behind her composure. I didn't disappear. I needed space. From me, I finished for her. She didn't answer, which was answer enough. Alara swallowed hard. Marlo, who's Mike? My wife's voice cracked when she said, he's no one. I arched an eyebrow. Fascinating. No one seems to text you at 2 a.m. and call you during dinner. Her face dropped. She knew I'd seen more than she thought. I wasn't cheating, she insisted quickly, desperately. We just talked. He's someone from the studio. The studio, I echoed. Right? The same studio where your extra shift started. Silence. Heavy. Damning. Alara stepped closer to her sister, searching her face. Marlo, have you been with him? My wife looked at me, not at Alara, and whispered, I didn't mean for anything to happen. That sentence, soft and trembling, was the kind that didn't need details. Carried its own confession. I nodded slowly. I figured. Her head jerked up. You figured. Yeah, I said. I'm not stupid, Marlo. Just trusting. That was my mistake. She moved toward me, hands out like she wanted to touch my arm. I stepped back before she could. The hurt flickered in her eyes, but I wasn't saving her from it. Aiden, please. We can fix this. We can talk to someone, go to therapy, take a break. Just don't do anything drastic. I tilted my head. Drastic? Like using your sister's name so you could spend the night with a man you didn't mean to get involved with. She shook her head frantically. It wasn't like that. I swear. Then what was it like? I asked softly. She had no answer. Just silence and trembling lips. Alara wiped her face with her sleeve, anger and heartbreak mixing. I can't believe you dragged me into this. You put me in the middle. You lied to him using me. Marlo whispered, I'm sorry. But the thing was, she wasn't sorry for lying. She was sorry for being caught. I stood up from the table, pushing my chair back with slow, deliberate calm. Here's what's going to happen, I said. You're going to go home, pack whatever you want. I'll be gone for the afternoon. When I return, I expect you not to be there. Her eyes filled instantly. Aiden, no. Please. Please don't just throw our marriage away. I almost laughed. I'm not throwing anything away. I'm handing you what you've already buried. Aiden, she whispered, stepping closer again. I made a mistake. No, I replied. You made choices. Repeatedly. She covered her mouth as tears escaped. But even then, even in that moment, she didn't deny Mike. She didn't promise there was nothing more. She didn't fight for me. She fought for the life she'd get caught lying in. I turned to Alara, who still looked stunned. Thank you for letting me stay. I'm sorry you're in the middle of this. She shook her head. No, Aiden, you didn't put me here. She did. I nodded once, then walked toward the door. Marlo reached out like she might grab my arm, but she didn't dare. She knew better now. Before I stepped outside, I paused, looked back at her one last time, and said, in the same calm tone that had unraveled her lie, you wanted to spend the night with someone else. Fine. Spend your life with your choices too. She broke then, fully, a sob tearing out of her like a confession. But I didn't stay to hear it. I walked out, letting the cool morning air wrap around me like a final, quiet truth. I didn't need revenge. Clarity was enough. And sometimes the cleanest break is the one made without raising your voice.